Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie with KBKC Yoga, and today's practice is going to be a morning stretch practice for total yoga beginner. So if you've never practiced yoga before, or if you've practiced a couple times, but it's been a long time, and you don't really feel comfortable going to a studio, but you want to get comfortable with the practice, this is for you. This will be the first in a series of practices for total yoga beginners. So for today's practice, all you'll need is a folded blanket or something to pad the knees, especially if you're on a hard surface or you have tender knees. This is a great option. If you don't have particularly tender knees, you might be okay without. We're gonna go ahead and get started in tabletop. So to come into your tabletop, you can pad your knees with a folded blanket and just find all fours. Stack your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. And just take a second here to sort of come into the body. So maybe rock a little hand to hand. And then finding some stillness, close down the eyes. And then you're gonna, with the eyes closed, take little circles to the right and then forward and to the left and back. Waking up the wrists. And starting to develop what we call interoception. So interoception is your perception of what's happening inside your body. Good, so just one more circle this way. Feel the fingers grip as you come forward. And then reverse your direction. Take circles the other way. Moving nice and slow. And coming back to center, you'll tuck your toes, and maybe you need to pick up your knees and let your eyes float open to do that. Tuck your toes, and then we're gonna take what we call cat-cows, the foundation of a lot of beginner yoga practices. That feels great first thing in the morning. So on your inhale, you'll drop your belly, you'll tilt your tailbone up and lift your chest, lift your face. And then on your exhale, you'll push into the hands, tuck the tailbone in, round the spine, curving the upper back and looking back towards the thighs. Good. Inhale, nice and slow. Drop the belly, opening and spreading the front ribs, lifting the chest. Exhale, round the spine, push the floor away, tucking the chin and looking back. Let's take one more like that. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to curl into yourself. Good, and then coming back to center, push your weight back towards your feet. Get a nice little stretch in the toes. Take just a couple breaths here to wake up the arches of the feet, really pressing through the fingertips, finding length in the spine. Good, and then from here, walk your hands back towards your feet. You're gonna lift your knees, lift your hips, and with your knees really bent, come into a forward fold at the back of your yoga mat. Give the head a shake as you come into this first big yoga posture. We call this Uttanasana, dangling pose. And you can keep the fingertips on the ground, keep the knees really bent, and connect the belly with the thighs. Shake the head, yes, and then no. And do a little wiggle with the hips. Good. Let's wake up the backs of the legs here. On an inhale, bend your knees and look forward. And then on your exhale, straighten your legs, send your head towards the floor. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, straighten the legs and send the head down. One more like that. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhaling to stretch the hips up, the head down. Good. From here, bend your left knee a lot. Keep the left fingertips on the floor. And then on an inhale, peel your right arm up as if you were unzipping a sleeping bag and straighten that right leg. Good. On the exhale, bring it back down. Bend the right knee a lot, keep the right hand down, and then unzip the left arm to the sky, straighten the left leg. Good, exhale, bring it back down. Good, take a big deep inhale and just hang really heavy. And then on your exhale, bend your knees and curl yourself up, one vertebrae at a time, all the way to stand. Good, rolling the shoulders back, opening across the heart space. And then reach your arms up, pushing the feet down. Grab the left wrist with the right hand and pull up and over to the right. Nice big side body stretch. Good, inhale back to center. And then switch sides. Grab the right wrist with the left hand, pull up and over to the right. Good, coming back to center. And then take your arms wide, bend at your knees, hinge at your hips, and come all the way back into that fold. Take a big inhale and exhale here. Good, and then as you're ready, walk your hands forward and let's come all the way to plank. So stacking shoulders over the wrists now, and lower the knees, but firm up the belly and push the floor away in your plank pose. Taking a couple breaths here to wake up the muscles of the body by just holding this strong posture. If you'd like a little bit more this morning, you can lift the knees. Good, keep the gaze forward, the neck long and spacious. Take one more big breath in. And then on an exhale, lower with as much control as you can find all the way to the floor. Good, from here, untuck your toes and then take your fingertips really wide and take the elbows up. And then inhale, push the fingertips down to lift the chest. On an exhale, drop your left shoulder to the floor and look to the right. Good, inhale back up. Exhale the right shoulder down, look to the left. Good, inhale back up, lift. Exhale, come back to the belly, bring the forehead to the floor. Bring your hands just on either side of your ribs and then push the floor away to come back to kneeling plank. And then exhale, we'll come into our first downward facing dog. So tuck the toes, push the floor away and send the hips back in space. So you're in this upside down V shape. You can adjust the feet a little. Maybe you need to walk the feet a little closer. Maybe the hands need to be a little bit wider. Press into the fingertips. And then once you're in this position, bend one knee really deeply and push the other heel back. On the inhale, switch. And then on the exhale, bend the other knee deeply. Press the other heel back. Good, back and forth. Good. From here, come back to a place where you can find some stillness, where you can push the floor away, where you can send the chest back towards the thighs. Tilt your tailbone up and back towards the place where the wall and ceiling meet behind you, and then relax the head. And take another big deep breath in. And then on your exhale, you're going to walk your feet up the mat, over the blanket if it's there. Just keep going. And maybe you need to peel your fingertips up. Maybe it's not super graceful. That's okay. On an in-breath, you're going to bring your hands to your thighs or your shins and find length in the spine. Nice big stretch. And then on the exhale, bend the knees and come back down. Good. Push into the feet. Take the arms really wide. Come all the way up. And let's take one more side stretch. So grab the left wrist, pull up and over to the right. Good. Back through center. Big inhale. Exhale, switching sides. Good. Inhaling back to center. Exhale. Take the arms wide. Send the hips back as if you were trying to touch the wall with your hips. Bring the fingertips down. Good. Inhale, lift halfway up. And then on your exhale, shift your weight into your right foot and you're going to step or slide your left foot way back, maybe even wiggling the toes back further than you think. Lower your left knee down, untuck your left toe, and then walk your hands up to your front thigh. Drop the hips forward and down, getting that nice big stretch in the front of the left hip. Taking a couple breaths here. If you're comfortable here, you can reach the arms up to the sky for Anjaneyasana. Good. Push into the front foot. as you pull up and in from the left hip towards the left ribs. Good, let's take one more big breath like this. And then you're gonna bring your left hand down to the mat and then twist the chest and reach the right arm. So the arms are stacked and the right fingertips are sending energy up to the ceiling. Good. Let's take one more big breath like this. And then on the exhale, bring the right hand back down. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, look forward, and then just spring off that left foot and step back to the top of the mat. Good, fold over your legs, bend your knees a lot here. Big inhale. Maybe a big open mouth exhale. Good, root down into the feet. Push the feet down as you bend the knees and sweep the arms wide to come all the way up. Good, and one last time, we'll take the side bends. So reach to one side. Maybe you find a little more space. Use the exhale to get into the ribs on that side body. Feels really nice first thing in the morning. Big breath in. And then exhale, big dive down. Good. Inhale to look forward. Bring the hands to the shins. Lengthen the spine. And then exhale, bend your knees, bring your hands down. So bend the knees as much as you need to, and then shift your weight into your left foot to take the right foot way back. Maybe you need to wiggle it or step it back. Lower the right knee down, untuck the right toe, and then walk the hands up to the front thigh. So same thing here. We want to send the hips forward to find the stretch here, but push into that left foot so you're not just dropping. There's this little counter action happening. Good, if you're comfortable here, you can reach the arms up for what we call Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Think about pulling the front of the right hip crease up towards the right ribs. Good, let's take one more breath. And then the exhale brings the right hand down. Plant the palm underneath your shoulder and then spin your chest and send energy through the left fingertips to the sky. Good, getting a nice big rotation of the mid-back here. One more inhale. And then exhale, bring your left hand down. Good, this time you're gonna tuck your back toe, lift your back knee, and then step your left foot back to meet the right, coming back to plank. Maybe you drug the blanket with you a little bit, no big deal. Let's take one more breath in. And then on the exhale, drop the knees. This time, we're gonna untuck the toes and then drop the hips, keep the arms straight to get a nice big stretch for the belly, the front body. Good, and then on your exhale, push into your fingertips, lift your hips up, keep your knees down, and then send your hips to your heels for child's pose. So for child's pose, you can take your knees a little wider. Maybe you wiggle your hips back and into that hip crease. Bring the forehead down to the mat, and if it doesn't reach the mat, maybe you've got something nearby like a small pillow, a book, or a yoga block that you can set the forehead on. We'll take just a couple breaths here into the low back. In your child's pose, keep the low body the same, but flip the hands so the palms are facing skyward. Feel how that changes the stretch underneath the shoulder blades and across the mid-back. Good, and then bring your palms together out in front of you. So the hands are in sort of a prayer shape, and then bring your arms narrower so the elbows come closer to the sides of the head. And then bring your thumbs up to the nape of your neck or the back between your shoulders, depending on how long your arms are. Maybe you can crawl your elbows forward and send the chest back for a little more tricep stretch. Let's take one more breath like this. And then bring the hands back down. Press into the palms to peel yourself up And we'll come back to one more downward facing dog. So tuck the toes, sweep the hips to the sky, downward facing. Maybe take a cleansing breath when you get there, in through the nose. Big sigh out the mouth. Good, let's walk the hands back towards your feet, coming into forward fold again, this time towards the back of the mat. And then tuck your chin, bend your knees, and curl yourself up. One last time. Good, inhale, reach the arms up, nice big stretch. And then on your exhale, interlace your fingers behind your low back. Bring the palms together, send the knuckles down, lift the chest up, big inhale. And then exhale, bend your knees, send your butt back, and then drop the head all the way down. Lift the knuckles up. Take a couple breaths here for the front of the chest. And then release the hands without snapping. Bring the fingertips to the floor. Bend your knees more. And then wiggle your feet wider. And turn the toes out. And then start to bend the knees and drop the hips all the way down into this little squat pose. You can rock a little side to side here. This helps to wake up the feet and the hips and the low back. Good, and then we'll come to stillness in this yogi squat. If your heels don't reach the mat, you've got that blanket there. Grab it, fold it up, and then bring it around behind you, and you can slide it underneath the heels for some support. And bring the hands together at the heart, and then press the elbows into the inner knees, thumbs together. Find length in the spine here. Take a couple deep breaths. Let's take one more big breath in. And then on your exhale, bring your fingertips down. Walk yourself forward, just roll forward back onto the knees. And then come back to where we began, tabletop position. Bring your knees under your hips. Good, let's pick up the feet from here and just roll out the ankles one way. And then the other. And then we'll cross our ankles behind us and just walk ourselves back to sit. And if the blanket was still there, this becomes a great place to sit to end your practice. We'll take just a moment at the end of our practice in what we call easy seat. If this is not easy for you, find a different way to sit that is. And just let the hands rest face down on the thighs or the knees. Close down the eyes. Let the shoulders soften away from the ears. Take a moment of quiet. Notice how you're feeling now at the end of our practice. And maybe set an intention for the rest of your day. The yoga practice is not about how we look on the outside. It's about how we feel. It's about living life in an intentional way. So maybe there's a single word or a short phrase that can help you live with purpose. Let's take a big inhale to sweep the arms up to the sky. Maybe blink open the eyes. And then bring the hands to heart center, big cleansing exhale breath. The eyes are still closed, blink them open. and welcome yourself back into the rest of your day. Thank you so much for sharing that quick morning practice for me. I'd love to hear in the comments down below your intention or how that made you feel. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe, share with a friend. We'll hope to see you back here soon for more in this series. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.